So I'm here taking care of my tomato plants today, and I wanted to show you what I'm doing with my plant. Depending on your service plan, we may or may not be at your garden this week, and so I wanted to show you what we will be doing for those service plans that are have more service, so that you know what to do with your plants if you are caring for them on your own in the next couple of weeks. Tomato plants should be growing very fast at this point, and you're going to see a lot of extra branches. Okay, so this is how I start. You probably know that I tend to plant the tomato plants very deep, and so you're going to get a lot of really low branches. A lot of the disease that comes on tomato plants is soil borne, and so I like to take off any of the leaves that are really low. Okay, so that way we don't have any leaves that are, well, this one's growing right out of the stem, any that are touching the soil, right? I happen to have fabric cloth on top of mine. This is a tomato plant at the community garden, and this helps me control weeds. This is not a raised bed, which is easier to control the weeds, but this is how I do it here at the community garden. So I've got a couple of things here. Number one, the tomato plant is tied to the stake in the middle of the cage, and that's very helpful to support for growth. Next, we want to look for suckers, and these are branches that are starting to form in the Y, being the main stem and a branch. Okay, right? So this that's growing in the middle of the stem and the branch would be a sucker, and what we want to do is pinch it off. Okay, and we want to just throw that away. What that's going to do is going to keep an extra branch from growing that we don't want. We don't want a ton of branches, we want a ton of fruit, and so we're going to take off these suckers. Okay, there's one here, and there's a tiny one. Can you see this? There's a tiny one in here. That's really when you want to get them, when they're really small, but I've missed a bunch of them. So I'm going to tie this up on the stake higher so that this is really well supported. And what we want is a very strong plant that's going up straight and tall, not a million branches that are just kind of growing everywhere. Okay, you want to make sure your stems are inside the cage, because they're going to grow fast, and you don't want big branches growing out the sides of your cage. Okay, so taking off suckers and tying them up to the stake, making a nice tall plant, that's our goal for this week and the next couple of weeks. And I will tell you more about what we do when it gets to into July in our next newsletter. Thanks. Bye.